There we go. We are live. What's going on tonight, everybody? Dan will be here in just a few minutes. He's got to do something real quick, and then he'll be hopping on with us as well. So we're just gonna kind of talk about whatever you guys want to talk about tonight. Only going to go for about a half hour probably tonight. We were going to do crypto fantasy league and everything. Derek's tied up tonight, so we're gonna hold off on that, and we will do that on Wednesday. So tonight we're just going to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. I had a nice bounce back today, nice Monday bounce back. And we've got a really good Bitcoin video dropping tomorrow talking about everything that, at least from what we're hearing, everything that caused the, I guess, quote unquote, crash from last week and everything. Really interesting stuff. A lot of it kind of what we were speculating was probably going on. But once you start kind of hearing some of the details behind it, it really starts connecting the dots like, okay, yeah, it was all coordinated. It was all coordinated FUD. And when you guys start hearing all of the stats and everything that we dug up, it becomes, at least in my opinion, very, very clear that it was all manipulation, all coordinated FUD in order to just tank the price. And it worked. So, and that's one of those things that if you're brand new to crypto, because I know we had a lot of people that were curious what was going on. A lot of people very worried and everything. And guys, that's okay. It's perfectly normal to worry about that and everything. If you're investing in anything, anytime it goes down, it's normal to be able to worry. But hold strong. We're still in a bull market. We still have, at least in my opinion, we still have 4 or 5 months left, before we need to start maybe thinking about moving some positions around and taking profits and everything. And you should always be looking to take profits on the way up as well. So let's see who we've got on. What's up, Dad? Like I said, Dan should be on here in a few minutes. He was just finishing something up, and then he's going to be hopping on. Darren, what's going on, Darren? How we doing? He says, morning all. That's right. I keep forgetting. It's morning where you're at, and it's 10 o'clock p.m. here. So let's see. Darren says bear trap. I agree. I think it shook out a lot of the weak hands. A lot of people. I mean, you don't have to go very far to find a lot of people that were very, very worried and very concerned during it, including YouTube. I mean, there was plenty of YouTubers on there saying it was the end of the market. There's plenty of Facebook groups out there. I mean, I'm in most of them, and there's plenty of Facebook groups out there. People extremely worried about Discord. I mean, it didn't matter where you're at. There was people that were worried about it, but no, I think absolutely right. I think bear trap, and I think we're getting ready for an epic bounce back at some point. Personally, what do I think is going to happen? And this is something we're going to cover. It's going to be covered a lot more detail in tomorrow's video. It's all filmed and everything. Honestly, the only thing I have to do is just make a thumbnail for it. But I think what's going to ultimately happen is once Bitcoin stabilizes, it's got to find some ground that works for it, because it did blow down through some big support levels and everything. It's got to stabilize. And I think it needs to run sideways for a couple of weeks. It's not going to be something that the public wants. It's not going to be something any of us want. We want it to shoot right back up. But I think having it stabilize for a couple of weeks is important, because I think that gets confidence back in the market. I think that gets people re-excited. I don't even know if that's a word, but I think it gets them re-excited for Bitcoin, for crypto. They see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's not dropping anymore. They're not losing money. They're not gaining it either, but at least they're not losing it anymore. And then you start to get the ball rolling, and it's going up. And I think personally, within about 2 months, I think that we will start to see Bitcoin creep towards that previous all-time high. And I think it will break the all-time high and get up near 75K. Which I think still leaves us time. I'm not, personally, I don't want to take back any of my price predictions that I had for it. I mean, obviously this was not something that anybody was really foreseeing happening or anything, but, I don't want to take back any price predictions, because I still believe, based on the transactions and stuff like that are taking place, I mean, people are still very, very interested, with crypto in general. I think that we're going to see an epic end to the bull run. I mean, stuff that maybe we've never even seen before. I mean, I think as we get closer and closer to the end of it, it could just go absolutely insane as the FOMO continues to kick in. I mean, because imagine, people were already really excited about it. Imagine if now, after, just bad news after bad news after bad news kept coming out last week, Bitcoin, survives when they're all saying, Bitcoin's dead, the bull run's dead, all that. Well, what if it survives? and it has this big climb back up to its previous all-time high. At that point, what bad news is going to crush that? Okay, it's all bullish momentum that's carrying it that way, and the storyline just keeps getting better and better for people, and then they feel like they're missing out on something. They feel like, I missed it when it went down to 30,000. I missed it. Why didn't I buy some down there? So then they start FOMOing into it because it's going so crazy that they want to catch it before it stops. So I think market sentiment changes very, very quickly. As always, not professional financial advice. However, I think a couple of weeks at some point, once Bitcoin does bottom and it reaches the support level, whether we're there now or not, it's hard to say. But once it does, if it just runs sideways for a couple of weeks, I'm cool with that. I'm happy with that because it finds its support and then it's ready to start rumbling again. The other really interesting thing that's going on right now, I don't know if anybody else saw this, and I didn't get a chance to dive into it a whole lot, but there was something, just earlier today, I believe it was Goldman Sachs, basically came out and said that they were not going to just classify crypto in general, but Bitcoin specifically is what they named. They're not going to just classify it as an asset. It's going to be its own entire asset class. I thought that was really, really interesting. So they think enough of it that it's not just going to be another asset. It's going to be its own entire class, which to me starts to get some bullish news coming back out again. Okay, because last week it was all about who's dumping Bitcoin. All the big institutional money is going to be dumping Bitcoin, and got the China FUD, and you've got all this other stuff going on. And now, I think now starts the better news coming out, and that's going to start to stabilize Bitcoin. And then once it does, that's when we start going back up. Just my thought on it. But I think that, excuse me, I think to me, that's what's going to happen. What's up, Bart? How we doing? He says, hey, guys and gals. Absolutely. Let's see. Derek says, snuck my phone on, LOL. Bitcoin will be going steadily and slowly back up. I'm getting 20 to 25% gains every 3 days. Did I mention how nice charting is right now? Absolutely. You know what? Hey, there's money to be made in bear and bull markets, no matter what you're in. I think, again, we're still in a bull market, but you can have a bear trend every once in a while that happens. You can still make money during that. We are going to be bringing Derek on for some technical analysis stuff coming up very, very soon, guys. So we will have some videos covering that. I don't know if anybody saw it the other day. Dan is starting basically crypto for dummies, crypto for anybody that's brand new. We've all been there. Dan is brand new, and he should be hopping on here in a few minutes. It's going to be something where it's for anybody that's brand new to the space. You can still watch it even if you're not brand new, because we got some really fun stuff planned for that. But we're also going to have Derek hop on some of those ones as well, and do some, kind of like technical analysis for dummies, basically, some brand new, if you're brand new to doing it, brand new to the space, anything like that, terminology to look out for, just basic concepts. If you are trying to do some day trading and want to try to increase profits, even if the market is going down, you can still make money. Luis says bull run is back. Hey, let's hope. I think overall, I think it will, but I think we're heading up no matter what, we're going to head up. They aren't going to stop Bitcoin. Scott says that's what I need. Absolutely. Hey, you know what? Anytime you can learn a new skill set, like doing the trading or anything like that, it never hurts, it takes time to learn that type of stuff too. You're not going to be an expert trader on day one or anything like that. And admittedly, I'm not great with technical analysis. I've never done much of it personally. I prefer to use indicators and just looking at, the team behind it, the project overall, use case, partnerships, that type of stuff. I look at all that type of stuff. But there is some technical analysis stuff that I really want to learn, because I think that it certainly has its place. And I think that you can make a lot of money doing it if you have a good handling of what it does. There he is.
Hey, what is up? Sorry I'm late.
Let's see. John says, what's your take on news out of the Federal Reserve? Which news is it, John? I know, and I forget his name. I can't think of what his name is right now, but I know there was new news that they were going to start exploring a digital currency. I do know that because they want to simplify. Imagine this: they want to simplify our current economic or our current currency situation, if you will, I guess. Which imagine that, all the guys that for years have been saying, "Oh, it's great the way it is," and then they realize, no, it's really not.
No, it's not.
That's like, we were talking about this earlier at lunch. I said, that's like taking advice on blockchain and Bitcoin and any type of crypto from Warren Buffett. Anybody that, if you listen to his last shareholder meeting for Berkshire Hathaway, him and Charlie Munger, he's been his right-hand man for 50 something years, I guess. They're both in their 90s. And they're trying to give advice on basically stay away from cryptocurrency, stay away from Bitcoin. I mean, you almost feel bad because it is kind of funny listening to it because they're so out of touch with what it actually is and why it's important.
Yeah, and make no mistake, Warren Buffett is.
Oh, he's a brilliant investor. I mean,
investor, but when it comes
to get that rich just investing, I mean, he's a brilliant investor.
Yep.
But there comes a time for, with that where it's like, okay, he's brilliant with stock market and what he has grown up with doing his entire life. But it's like with this new technology, it's past his capability of learning it.
Yep.
Or his want to learn it.
Yeah. So Darren says new institutional whales bought this dip. And I know Kyle's shaking his head right now. Like, yeah, bear trap triggered to give them an entry point they liked.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
no, yeah, guys, watch the Bitcoin video. I've got 2 videos for tomorrow. There's going to be one about basically whale manipulation on Bitcoin, and there's a lot of statistics that are starting to come out. It connects all the dots as far as what's been going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's if you're new to crypto, it's something you kind of unfortunately, because of it being decentralized. A lot of times that's stuff that you got to take the good with the bad sometimes, and it's one of those things where because it's decentralized, there's really no recourse for keeping manipulation and stuff like that away. I mean, it's just, that's the way that it is. That's what ends up happening. And, again, everybody's thrilled when they're getting 200% gains, but when you get a 20% loss, or in this case, 40, 50%, nobody's happy. Hey, nobody likes seeing their portfolio red, but you got to think about the fact that, and I point out in the video tomorrow, if you look at us 6 months ago, we were below 20,000 and we were just hoping to get over that previous all-time high. And that was like a euphoric day when it got over 20,000. We're still twice that right now, So, it's like, hey, life is good. I understand if you bought it towards the top, just hold on. It's only a loss if you sell it.
Absolutely. And Luis, I'm here. I'm happy to see that you're back in the game. Mood's changed a little bit. He says bull run's back. Yeah, baby. That's what I'm thinking too. So he wants to know if we own any Solana. So
yes, I do. I
know. Yeah, I know for a fact you do. I do not. But
I've been looking at getting, man, there's so many of them at just such great prices right now that it's like I had to keep on like slapping myself like, no, don't buy, well, I mean, I want to buy it obviously, but obviously you can't put everything into crypto. I mean, I wish you could, because I literally would be trying to buy like everything that I like.
Right. So Darren wants to know if we missed a fantasy league. So no. So we were actually talking about this before we got on. We kind of lost track of like what the heck with this past week. Honestly, Kyle's been very busy, like just keeping the reins on the horse, if so to speak, with everything. It's kind of a crazy last week. So fantasy got away from us.
I believe Darren. I believe you actually won, and we'll have confirmation on that on Wednesday. I believe that you won. I was going to reach out to Derek earlier today, and today just kind of got away from both Dan and I and didn't get a chance to. But I do believe that you won. So we'll announce it officially on Wednesday, and then we'll start the next fantasy league on Wednesdays.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure Darren was like far and away ahead of everybody else because that bloodbath just wiped everybody out. Yeah, I think Darren was the winner with like a $20 profit.
Honestly, though, coming out with positive in this, that's pretty. With this past week, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
I will say.
Yeah.
So no, you did not miss it. We will get confirmation for Wednesday though, to be sure. All right. So Lee says in 2017 we had a massive pullback, 370-ish days after,
Yeah, he's right.
happening. Then things mooned. He says it's time to moon again.
Yeah. I'm kicking myself, Louise, because I know for a fact I did not put that in that video about Bitcoin, and it was on my notes to put it in, but I know I didn't put it in there. Now that you bring it up, because I had a whole thing of notes that I wanted to make sure I covered in that, and that was one of the ones that I had on there. Maybe I'll add that for a different video, a different time for it. But it's a great point that he makes right there, guys. Bitcoin, crypto in general, Bitcoin is extremely, extremely historical. It's very cyclical, very historical. I mean, you can time out a lot of the stuff. It's not obviously like an exact science or anything, but you can time a lot of these different things, based on previous cycles and everything. And he's absolutely right about that. The right around the 370-ish day after the halving, and then all of a sudden then things end up mooning. So yep. I think he's right, and I think that we are headed for a huge run up. And like I said, my thought on it is, what are the news outlets going to say? What kind of stuff are they going to make up at that point if Bitcoin survives this right here, which we all know it survives this right here when everybody's left it for dead, and it not only gets back to its all-time high, but it starts just shooting through that. At that point, people are going to be like, shit, I missed out. I don't want to miss out on it if it keeps going. So then the FOMO kicks in, and in 2 months, when we're at the new all-time high, that's when that FOMO starts kicking in, and then all of a sudden we start just skyrocketing, and that's where you still could see that 150, 200, $250,000 Bitcoin somewhere in there. I mean, some people are predicting higher than that. There's people out there saying 500,000 still. That might be a little bit tough. It was definitely something that seemed more achievable a couple weeks ago, but as you learn with as you learn with crypto, anything's possible. I mean, it's absolutely one of those things where anything's possible.
Yeah. Did you mention, Kyle, before I hopped on, did you mention what we're doing Wednesday? The plan for Wednesday's, what we're doing on the show?
Trying to remember. We've talked about so many different things we want to do. I'm trying to remember what it was.
So we're going to test it out. I believe it's going to be a beta test of around. We're going to do, like, if you've seen ESPN Sports Center, we're going to do a similar thing like that around the horn on ESPN, where I'm going to be the mediator, the moderator, whatever you want to call me. We're going to have Kyle on there as one of our, quote unquote experts. We're going to have Derek, our.
Are we actually doing that this week?
Yeah, let's do it.
So Dan and I have actually been talking about this for a couple months, and in between, guys, if you're familiar with like BitBoy Crypto, he's the largest crypto channel out there. They have a show very, very similar to kind of what we're talking about. And it was really funny because Dan and I had been talking about wanting to do something like this for, I don't know, at least a couple months. We were like, hey, at first it was going to be a crypto trivia, and we've kind of hinted at that on here. We have another channel, Batman Theory, that we do Batman trivia on, and we said, hey, crypto trivia would be a lot of fun. And then as we started, talking about other ideas, we said, something where it's like a talk show type of thing. And I had actually said, like, Around the Horn. I used to watch that all the time in high school and college and everything. And I said, I always loved that because you get so many different opinions. Not everybody's going to have the same opinion. And it was really funny because literally like a few weeks later, they announced that they were going to do that type of show. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. Yeah. And I love it. Like, I don't miss an episode of it. They do it every single day. And I just love listening to it because everybody's got some really, really neat opinions on it. And some of them I might agree with, some I might not agree with, but I think that's part of the fun of it. And from our standpoint, we'd like to do something kind of similar to it. Obviously, we don't want to knock off what they're doing, even though we were already kind of thinking of that same concept anyway. We don't want to knock off what they're doing. We want it to be something where not only we bring on, at some point as we grow the channel, we want to bring on other crypto channels to come on and give their thoughts and stuff like that and collaborate with them a little bit. We'd like to bring on people from our own community, you guys that are on here watching all the time, and, get your opinions on different hot topics going on in crypto and stuff like that. So if that's something that you guys are interested in, let us know, and we can kind of start planning that part of it out as well, because we'd like to start doing that at some point.
Yeah, I say let's do it. We can, even if it's just you and Derek, we'll find. We do have one other person that is willing to come on. We got to get their camera stuff set up. Let's do it for Wednesday. Let's try it out.
Let's do it.
And let us know what you guys think. Get on, watch it. I think it's gonna be a really fun time. We're gonna have some really good questions. And if you guys have questions you want us to cover on there, send us an email on notitlerequired1@gmail.com.
Yep. Yeah. So as you say, if you guys have questions you want us to cover, if you want to be on the show,
yeah, if you want to be on, absolutely.
And we're still trying to figure out logistics of how it's going to work, what it's going to look like. We don't even have a name for it yet. So, it's definitely one of those things we're kind of figuring out as we go type of thing. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
I do too. So Louis says, one thing to watch out for, the Wall Street Bitcoin ETF could cause a blow off top.
Yeah. There's so many different scenarios that come into play, and honestly, it's hard to keep up with everything that goes on, because, you get the futures contracts that come due at the end of certain months and everything. I mean, there's so many different things that come into play that you watch out for and everything. And that's, part of it. What's that?
I was just going to say, I think I'm taking the words out of your mouth. Sorry. I was just going to say, some of it honestly is just hearsay. It doesn't necessarily really do much to move the market, but some of it absolutely does. You're not wrong, Luis, but, and it's hard to kind of, surf through the soot, I guess, so to speak. So I know Kyle spends a lot of time every day going through all the news and stuff, and it's hard sometimes to figure out what is bullshit and what is actually like legitimate.
Well,
what could affect the market.
Well, and the other part of the problem too sometimes is like we want to bring as much educational stuff for you guys as possible. Like at the end of the day, the most important thing is educating, especially people that are brand new to the space, about the space. Yep. The tough thing with that, and this is why we kind of think having a live stream that is more dedicated to being almost like a talk show type of thing or a debate is really going to be more helpful for that, because we can cover multiple topics in one single live stream. And, the toughest thing with doing individual videos is we would like to do the informational stuff. We would like to do the teaching. The problem is nobody watches those, because they're not, sexy. They're not, fun to listen to. Nobody wants to be taught how to do something. All everybody ever wants to listen to is, oh, this project's going to the moon. Oh, this project's doing this. Oh, this project's doing that. So, for us, a lot of the content has to be focused on projects, because at the end of the day, that's the main stuff that gets views. So that's why we're really excited about doing these type of live streams, because we can still cover projects, but we can do more of the information-based stuff too.
And we could always do like another one we talked about too, is we could always do a PTI as well, something where it could be like just you and Derek, and I can, hey, here's the list of things. You got 30 seconds to talk about it. Boom, 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 going through everything, everything like that. So, so Jonathan says, I got approved for ETH 2.0 on Coinbase.
Awesome.
Let's see. LS here says, Texas mining facility news today, 70,000 mining facility, green energy.
So I do know, I saw a tweet earlier by Michael Saylor. Anybody that's not sure who he is, he's like the biggest Bitcoin advocate that there is. MicroStrategy CEO. Honestly, at this point, it wouldn't shock me if MicroStrategy is basically just all Bitcoin at this point. I mean, they own so much of it, and they keep buying. I think they bought like 10,000 more Bitcoin as it's been going down. But basically, he has basically said that he is working, or at least wants to work with Elon Musk to work with U.S.-based mining facilities and try to make them as environmentally friendly and eco-friendly as possible. Like the other thing that's been speculated by a lot of people is, the whole play here by Elon could be the fact that he's trying to bring the environmental part of it into it. And his whole play is to be able to create his own mining facility and using, solar energy and clean energy. So
right.
It wouldn't shock me. Honestly, it would not shock me, because you know how valuable that would be?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So Michael Vale says, sup, big dog Stevens. He's got to be talking about me. But I have a few questions about crypto. Why did Musk pull out of Bitcoin?
I mean, he claims because of the environmental stuff. I don't know. Did he actually pull out himself? He basically just said that Tesla wasn't going to be accepting Bitcoin payments. Which the interesting thing is, I mean, and Derek said this the one day, and I thought it was a really good point. Anybody that's in crypto and believes in the long-term longevity of it and where it's ultimately going, why would anybody want to spend their Bitcoin on a Tesla? I mean, Teslas are great, but well, that might not be a popular opinion among a lot of people at this point. But all in all, like people love Tesla, or at least they did. But nobody's going to take a monetary something of monetary value that's going to continue to appreciate and purchase something that depreciates.
Yep, absolutely. And LS says Tesla rigs. Yeah, I think honestly that's one of the biggest things is market manipulation. I think it's all BS coming out of Musk. Elon Musk is a genius when it comes to a lot of things, and he's no dummy. Obviously, he's the richest man in the world, and he's essentially just rigging how he wants it to go.
Oh yeah. Well, and here's the thing, Elon is definitely no stranger to hyping stuff.
Like the Cybertruck when he said it was going to bounce off, and honestly, like the hype surrounding the Cybertruck after that, I want to buy a Cybertruck now.
Well, it goes all the way back to when he was at PayPal and everything, and it's funny because he was in a tweet storm like a week or two ago with a couple other guys that were talking about the future of money and going on and on about it, and he basically went in and just tried to assert his big boy dominance basically by saying, "Oh, you act as if I don't know about digital money. Have you ever heard of PayPal?" And it's really funny because technically he was kicked out of PayPal. He wasn't the one that founded PayPal. He wanted to keep it X.com. They didn't want to keep it X.com because they thought it sounded too much like a porn site. So then they end up switching it to PayPal after they get some extra money coming in. And I don't know. It's all really, really interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. And that sums it up right there. I love to hate Elon. Yeah, I agree. I think he's such a fascinating guy. He really is. But so we got Darren says he gives a couple coin suggestions. NEM and World Mobile Token.
So actually, both of them were on my list of videos I wanted to make. NEM especially, just because I think I think it's one of those. I mean, if I remember right, and there's so many different projects at this point, so I could be thinking of the wrong one, but NEM at one point back in 2017, 2018, that was like a top 5 or top 10 crypto, if I remember right. And I mean, it's still somewhat high ranking, but it's nowhere near that. And I think in terms of like undervalued projects, I mean, you look at something like that, and I think it's not even close to its previous all-time high. So I think it could have the potential, even if it just gets back to its previous all-time high, it could be like we talked about on here about Stellar, Cardano, Litecoin. Look what all of them did just from the time we started talking about, like, hey, look, they're literally like a third of their all-time high. Like all they got to do is just get to where it was, and you're going to make a bunch of money. And then if it gets past that, you're going to be really happy.
Yeah. So Mike says, essentially, I thought the whole point of getting Bitcoin, the whole point of it's essentially to be able to buy things like a candy bar or Tesla. And I think that's the problem is I think eventually, in my opinion, I think Bitcoin's going to eventually, years down the road, is going to fall by the wayside because there's going to be better projects that come along that will be more used to, I'm going to go to Walmart and pay with this instead of dollars.
Well, yeah, I think, the original intent of Bitcoin was that it was going to be a digital currency. And I think over time, as, it's really become more of a store of value, I think that there's going to be a lot of currencies out there that are much better equipped to be, because they're faster transactions too. Plus, people aren't going to want to say like, oh, I'll pay you 0.000001 Bitcoin. Like the math on that is just way too difficult to figure out. Whereas, you have other projects that are much faster speeds, would serve a much better purpose as a currency. And Bitcoin can kind of be that digital gold. It can be that store of value. And I think overall, in terms of overall market cap, Bitcoin's not going to be number one forever. I really think Ethereum passes it. I think there's other projects that have the potential to as well. I think any smart contract platform, in my opinion, are going to be the biggest winners out of anything. DeFi is going to be huge. NFT is going to be big,
Mhm.
but I think smart contract platforms, because if you look historically, just at the stock market, the biggest winners are always the tech companies. They're always the
Yep.
ones that everything is built on top of. And excuse me, and that's what you have with something like like Ethereum, Cardano, Polkadot, Solana, all these different projects like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So Leroy wants to know what we think of the crypto quote unquote coin. So I'm not sure. I personally am not sure what he's talking about. Is he
Yeah,
talking about like using like a physical coin for crypto? Is that what he means by that?
not 100% sure, to
I'm
be
not sure.
honest with you. I know at one point, like Elon Musk had said he wanted to actually put a physical Dogecoin on the moon, which is kind of funny because there's no actual like physical coin for it. So they would actually have to like mint a coin for it. So maybe that is what he's referring to, though, is like eventually will there be physical coins? I mean, it's possible, but to me, it would seem like it's really unnecessary just because what would be the point of needing it?
Yeah.
The other thing is, hold on, let me pull something up here. Okay, that's what I was just wondering. Darren just said crypto.com coin, which that's what I was thinking CRO is crypto.com. So I like crypto.com, Leroy, if that's what you're talking about. I really like crypto.com. I think that has a great opportunity. I think that has the opportunity to do what, you look at like Binance Coin, KuCoin, all these different coins that are based on exchanges and stuff like that. They've all had big run-ups at one point or another, and I think crypto.com has that potential, and it could do the same type of thing.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, we got one last thing, and then we can hop off. So Mike says, "What happens when the apes take over the planet? We all go dark. You'd rather have a bunch of candy bars than Bitcoin." I like listening to you guys. And you know what? I like listening to me too. I tell my wife that all the time. She doesn't listen to me, so I sit there and talk to myself all the time. So you know what? I'm glad you guys enjoy it. Any last things before we hop off? Like I said, we're gonna try. I think we try, Kyle. I think we do it Wednesday. We can get it together. We can. I know Derek's gonna be down. Derek has been just chomping at the bit to be telling everyone the analytics of crypto. So I think it'll be fun to listen to you two spar, and we'll see if we can get one more person on too.
Leroy says number 710 on CoinGecko. All right, I'll take a look at it, Leroy.
Yeah.
I don't know, to be honest with you, but I'll definitely take a look at it.
Very interesting. I like the simplicity of it. Just coin. That's funny.
Awesome. All right, guys, we got to go because we got a bunch of shit to get done, to get some videos out for you guys, and then also plan everything out for our pending live streams. So we got a lot of other stuff in the works too. So our minds are always racing. We've always got a million different things in the hopper that we're coming up with. So
yeah. So Jonathan says, "Don't boost my own." Jonathan, if you knew me enough, you know I have the biggest ego. Ask Kyle. I got a big ego. It's hard to deflate it. So it takes a village. Real quick, last thing. Let's see here. Luis wants to know, at what price levels would you take profit on Ethereum?
Oh, it's a hard one to answer because I'm so bullish on Ethereum. I think a lot of it depends on where you bought it. If you got into ETH at, let's say, $500, I mean, I'm not going to lie.
Let's say you bought it a couple weeks ago at 2,000, and right now it's just kind of going above, going below, going above.
I would say if you bought it at 2,000, I would say I would want to try at like 10K, because I do believe it's going well past that. At 10K, I would be looking. If you're somebody that doesn't believe that it's going to go past 10K, 6,000, 7,000, try to get, at least 3X on it if you can. And again, a lot of that's based on where do you think ultimately that it's going. For me, I'm really bullish on ETH. I think it's going over 20K. So for me, I want to hold as much of that as I possibly can. I might take profits along the way if I see big gains on it. I did it with Cardano the other day. When it got up close to 250, I sold some of it at 235. I didn't sell everything, but I sold, a chunk of it. and with the idea of being able to buy back in. And I was able to buy back in, but I also was able to put some more of that into Bitcoin as it was dipping down too. So it really, it kind of served two purposes, because I was able to get more Cardano for basically, this a much lower price, and I was able to buy Bitcoin with the profits, which was nice. So a lot of dollar cost averaging is always a great idea, and I think a lot of it really depends on where do you believe that that's going, and what are you comfortable with. Some people, there's people out there that I'm not selling unless it's 10x at least, and that's okay. Some of them you might be holding for a while, and there's no guarantee that it's there. So for me, it's never a bad idea to profit take, and that I learned that the hard way. You guys know that I learned that the hard way when I first got started.
Absolutely. All right. Sounds good. So, guys, same time, same place on Wednesday. Hope we have a little different format for Wednesdays, and we'll see you guys then.
Have a great night, guys.
Good night, guys.